Hey YouTube, Sam Explains here. I got a couple requests to go over some energy activators and catalyst guide, so I figured why not? We already have all the guides to unlock the ultimate descendants, so I thought it would be a good idea to kind of get everything in one place. One of my viewers actually recommended it, and he was like, hey man, great job on the ultimate guides, but to complete the package, I think it would be cool if you had an energy activator guide and a catalyst guide. And I said, whoa, that's a good idea. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. This is something you should be doing every single day when you log in. And this is also what I do every single day when I log in. I will make a video guide on also like the 10 things I do when I log in, kind of like my daily chores, if you will. So I will be making a video on that as well. I'm gonna do the energy activator guide, and then I'll do a catalyst guide, and then I'll do what to do when you log in each day. So let's just jump into it. I don't want to yap for too long. Also, before we begin, I just wanted to say that also I did get into the creator program. So if you do want to have another way to support me when you are making those in-game purchases, you can enter my code, and I'll leave that at the bottom in my description if you're interested. If you're not, it's no big deal. Don't feel like you have to. I mean, it's seriously no biggie. So let's just go ahead and jump into this. All right, so as you can see, I still have not farmed mine for today. I just farmed a couple the other day, so I need to go get materials, and I was like, you know what, I'll just share with everybody what I do. So obviously for the low carbon activators, it only gives us one option. So we're gonna go over here to the Kingston outpost, and that's gonna be right here. And we're just gonna teleport to the Fallen Theater, and what we're gonna do is, and it's always a good idea to hack these outposts instead of just running in there and nuking it. It's going to drop pattern 54 and or 55. The reason I always hack it is because, as you can see here, pattern 55 has a 6% of dropping the energy activator blueprint, and obviously the more of these blueprints that you have, the better. So that's why I can't stress to you guys enough, always hack it. Even if you are going for the material, it's just better. You get stabilizers, you get patterns that you can go and get energy activator blueprints, you get weapon materials. It's just good to do it. If you're just trying to get the material and you're just trying to save time, you don't have to hack it, but you always should, in my opinion. Also, how am I getting hit? I'm literally inside the base. How am I getting hit here? Oh, it's because they started the mission. All right, so anyways, let's go ahead and change to Sharon. And I forgot to change it to private. I had somebody run in there and nuke it. Sure to change it to private if you are wanting to get the rewards for hacking it. And sometimes these can be tricky when they like peek out. They can sometimes ruin your hacking. So I usually go from this side right here. I'll run up here and then I'll hop on this wall right here. Of course, this didn't work because obviously I started it before, but if you do it prior to starting the mission, it does work. You just basically run from here, and then you're just gonna go over here, and then you're gonna go to that wall. Or whichever way you want to do it. You can also go to this side over here is fine as well. But I usually go right here. I'm gonna wait for my stealth cooldown, and then we're just gonna run in there and hack it, and GG. Alright. Remember to have your mods built up if you do need a little bit of extra time. Maximize duration and skill extension. Just gonna hack these three, and then just... You can clear the ads if you want for the extra materials, or you can just focus the boss. It doesn't really matter. And there you go. Keep in mind, this is not, as you can see here, it's not 100% drop rate. Sometimes you do get unlucky, but you just keep repeating this, and then you're gonna get a drop. And luckily, with the outpost buff, you can get these mats extremely quickly. Very quick. And there we go right here. See how we just got pattern 54 and a stabilizer, as well as 14 of the low carbon activators? That's why I always say hack it, because you're getting other things besides just that specific material. You also get an increased chance for those stabilizers, which you'll eventually use to open things that you're gonna need. So it's always a good idea. And then you're just gonna rinse and repeat till you have enough. All right, next up, we're gonna do the conductive metallic foil. We are just going to teleport to Vespers. And I usually like going to the smallest part of the map possible to find these vaults. I don't like going to big areas because it takes longer. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna teleport here to the ruins. Make sure you do change your Descendant to Enzo. He gets extra, so if you have him, he gets extra materials when you do hack these vault mats. So make sure to do that. if you do have him. And then turn on your game audio. We are going to need to hear for this. And you're just going to run around the map, spam your tab key, and you're going to hear this sound. So if you hear this one, it means you're close to one, but you're not looking in the correct direction. If you hear this one, that means you're looking in the correct direction. So that's how we know where to go.
Changing mags.
It'll start getting louder and louder the closer you get to it. And here we go. Ooh, and it's an ultra one as well. And then you're just gonna hack this. Remember to use Enzo if you have them. And look how many Kuiper shards we get for this. 81,000. Crazy. Alright, and that's how you're going to get that mat. It's very easy. They buff these. You get a lot more than you used to. And if you do need to farm those breakers and you just find yourself not having any, you can always go up here to the sterile land and farm the anticipated ambush point. These are like very, very, very quick runs. If you equip Bunny, you can do like 30-second runs, maybe not even. And they will drop those code breakers. So if you find yourself not having any, you can just spam this mission over and over. I think when I farmed this for like an hour, I ended up with like 10, maybe even more of the code breakers. So if you need to farm those, just go do this mission. It's the most consistent and the fastest. All right, next up, we're going to do the heat plasma battery. So you have two options here. You can do the Haven or Old Mystery. Basically going to come down to preference. So obviously the easiest way would be to go in the Haven and do this in solo, so you're not griefing your public lobby. But basically you would go up to the point to where you would fight the elite, kill the elite, grab the material, and then you would leave the dungeon and reset the dungeon and go back in, and then just rinse and repeat if you're trying to get those mats really quickly. However, keep in mind, usually what I do when I'm farming this to get the material is I farm two things at once. So if you do not have ultimate glay, as you can see up here, you can finish the mission to get those amorph material patterns because they are 100% drop rate, as well as if you do get a higher score, you can get a second one, as well as chance at stabilizers. So it's completely up to you. You can choose to do this one, which has ultimate glay stabilizer 104, and if you change it to 105 here, you can get ultimate lepic and or energy activator blueprint. So it kind of just depends if you want to do this, if you want to kind of multi-farm, right? If you want to get like multiple things at once. And your other option is going to be Old Mystery, and that's going to drop pattern 106 over here, which is going to contain the ultimate bunny code. And if we change it to pattern 107, it is going to have the ultimate VSS. So to break it down like this, if you want to multi-farm and go for those ultimates as well while you're farming the heat plasma battery, you can absolutely do that. That's what I personally do. However, if you're just in a rush to get that energy activator going as soon as possible, you don't have to complete the mission. You can just queue it up solo, fight the elite, and then rinse and repeat. However, I'm not going to do that. I always finish these missions just because I like having like the amorph materials stacked up when I fight those hard bosses, so I have stuff to open and I don't have to come back later to farm these. So I like the multi-farm. However, it's complete preference. You can do whichever one you want to. I don't really like Old Mystery, so I'm going to do the Haven. I already have ultimate glay and ultimate lepic is crafting right now, so I don't really need these, but I'll go ahead and show you where to go as far as where the elite's at. So even though I already have it, I'll go ahead and do 105 just so I can have a chance at that energy activator blueprint later, because we will need those. And I'll show you guys where the elite's at. I'll go ahead and start a private operation, and I'm going to finish the dungeon, but I'm only going to show you guys up to where the elite's at. As I said, it's up to you if you want to finish the dungeon or not. Complete preference if you're just trying to get the purple mat or not. Now, I recommend doing this on Bunny because you can get through the mission the fastest. However, I'm trying to level my ultimate Viesa that I just got, so I'm going to use Viesa for this just because I like doing like 3 separate things at once and I try and be optimal. However, you can definitely use Ultimate Bunny. I'm going to skip to the point to where the elite shows up. That way you guys aren't watching a full run, and I'll show you where he's at. Alright, so you're going to get to this guy right here. You're going to clear this room of the ads, and then this guy is going to spawn, the Elite Slayer, and he's the one that's going to drop the plasma batteries, so you're just going to kill him. And see how I just got 9 right there? So that's how you're going to do that. You'll go up to this point. If you want to finish the mission to farm for whatever amorph material you're going for to get those ultimates, you absolutely can. Or you can just press escape and you can go to return to Albion and queue up from Albion, queue up for the dungeon again, and basically just do it that way if you're farming for this specific mat, like this mat specifically. And you can just rinse and repeat, and that would obviously be the fastest to get the material. I like finishing the dungeons just to get those amorph materials stacked up so I have chances at other things, but you can do it however you want to. Alright, now that we got 3 of the materials done, we're going to move on to the last material, which is the Polyatomic Ion Particle. And for this one, we're going to do the Command Relay mission, which is going to be right here in the fortress. I'm going to do it on Bunny, just so I can farm the fastest. And that's going to be this one right here. We're just going to start this up and then run over here. And you're just going to kill the elites that spawn, and they will drop the particles. So we killed this Vulgus guy, so let's see. There we go, we got 11 right there. And then we got another 9 right there. Then you're just going to come up here and kill this boss. And that's pretty much it. You're just going to rinse and repeat until you have enough. You get quite a bit of drops from this, so it shouldn't take you that long to get all the ones you need. I'm just going to rinse and repeat until I have enough. Shouldn't take me too long. And keep in mind, you really don't actually have to fight the boss. If you really wanted to, you could just abort the mission, like, after you kill the 2 elites, and that's totally fine if you're just trying to farm it as fast as possible. I usually just finish it, just because it's like an extra, 10, 15, 20 seconds. It's not really that big of a deal, but you could, if you wanted to, just, like, stay until you kill both of the elites, and then abort the mission, run back, and restart it. Also keep in mind, sometimes the elites do have a chance of not dropping it. Like, for example, this last run that I did, the first elite didn't drop it, but the second one did. So keep in mind that that can happen. But still, you can farm these extremely quickly. It took me literally like, I don't know, 6-7 minutes to get this. So yeah, it's not hard at all. And then of course you are going to need the energy activator blueprints. So the energy activators are going to be probably the hardest one to get. However, if you are trying to farm other things like the weapon mats, pretty much anything in the game, like the weapon mats, the ultimate descendants, normal descendants, you're going to have a chance. A lot of the patterns contain them. But if I look over here, for example, the normal patterns have like a 3% drop rate of getting them, so it is going to be lower, whereas a hard pattern is going to bump it up to 6%. So obviously if you were trying to farm these, you would go for the hard mode farms. But basically if you're fighting like hard mode bosses, doing hard missions to get those amorph materials, and or hacking the outposts, anytime you fight an outpost boss, a lot of these patterns, not all of them, but a lot of them are going to contain the energy activator blueprint. So you should at least accumulate some of these through your playthrough, or if you're farming for things, you should have some of these. If you don't, it's kind of hard to target farm, but it's kind of like when you're farming for something else, you'll probably get a few of these along the way. But it is going to be the same drop rate regardless of if you fight a hard boss or a outpost boss. It's still going to be that 6%. And of course, if you have some stabilizers, you can use stabilizers to up that to, I believe it's 10% chance. So yeah, it's kind of hard to target farm these. However, you should get these passively just as you are farming other things, but you can absolutely target farm them if you want to. It's just going to be kind of like a low drop rate. I've crafted quite a bit of energy activators, and I still have 6 materials left. Obviously, I've put a lot of game time in, so you might not have as many as I do. Overall, this is going to be the hardest piece to get just because those drop rates are pretty low, but you will eventually get one. And the way I kind of look at it is I do this every day. So as soon as I log into the game, I make sure to get my materials, and I'll craft one pretty much like every 2 days, I would say, because it is a 30-hour research time. So I will farm my materials, start crafting it, and then once the timer is up, I'll go farm the materials again. And then as soon as that timer finishes on the energy activator, or the next time I log in, I'll just start a new one. These are extremely important for leveling your ultimate descendants and your weapons, so it's always good to have more than you need rather than not like needing them and not having them, you know what I mean? So very important to farm these. I always recommend doing this if you have the patterns available. possible, always like prioritize this, because you will eventually use them all, especially if you're wanting to like test out weapons or test out other Descendants, or just having like new Descendants in the future that you do want to energy activate. Just keep stocking these up. As soon as you get the pattern, go farm the materials, go start researching it. If you have extra ones, just rotate them until you don't have any more patterns left. You will get these, as I said, just playing the game, most likely, unless you're just really unlucky and you just never get the pattern. But that's pretty much it, guys. That's how you're going to farm the energy activator step by step. It's really not a hard farm. I mean, assuming that you have the pattern and you're not trying to target farm the pattern, these other materials take like 45 minutes, maybe an hour, depending on your build. It's really fast. This doesn't take long at all. So that's how you're going to do that. Keep an eye out. I will also do one on Catalyst. That way, anybody who might be confused on how to farm these, it's kind of, you know where exactly where to go, what missions to do to be optimal and all that good stuff. And then obviously you're just going to go to the research thing and research it. I obviously can't because I started my Afterglow sword mats, because you can only craft up to 5 things at once. However, after this finishes in 37 minutes, I'll just go ahead and throw my energy activator in there, and then it's going to be a 30-hour research time. And then once that finishes, I'll farm the mats again, or you could pre-farm them if you want, however you want to do it. But yeah, that's how you're going to do it. And thanks so much for all the support. As I always say, you guys are goated. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And again, I will be doing a how to farm a catalyst video. Y'all take care. I am Sam X Plays, and y'all have a good day or night, depending on when you're watching. Thank you. See you later.